Show. I'm your host, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. This is episode number 142. And I am so happy we were on a little hiatus. Went away to Atlanta and Arkansas as well. Had an opportunity to meet a couple of the people that have been a part of the show or around it. I got to meet our guest tonight's brother in person, Dad. I met my co-host Shannon for the first time. That was cool as well as Tiffany, who's been a contributor to the show, and Yardley, who's been my co-host on many programs as well. So I had a great time, and happy to be back here in Los Angeles. And when I came back, it was smoke everywhere due to the fires. Right, even though I'm far away from the fires, but you could see the smoke from all around. So uh, definitely, I was glad to be home and glad to be back on the show. So let me introduce my guest tonight. Of course, we'll start off with the ladies. We have a returning champ, L.A. Wade. How you doing?
I'm feeling under the weather, but I'm very blessed. I feel great.
All right, I'm glad that you're here, and you are the host of two shows, The Elephant Room and Cocktails with L.A.
I am. I'm not going to be the host of the Elephant Room any longer. The University of Toronto is in the process of applying for some funding to make it a university-owned platform.
All right.
So I'm happy about that. But Cocktails with LA has been a wonderful journey, even though no one has seen anything yet. I've been filming behind the scenes and doing interviews, and I launched January 1st, and I'm very.
All right. Well, I can't wait to check that out. We've been talking about it quite a bit, and it's going to be fun to see it. So,
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
it's fun to do it. So I look forward to sharing it with everyone.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Um, Also joining us, it's his return to the program. It's been a little while. The one and only Dad. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty darn good. I had to hide out in my car so I could be focused on the show.
There's been many times where I've had to hide out in different places to get my focus together. So I quite understand. So,
Yeah, man.
so what's been up with you, man?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Just maintaining. I take care of my grandmother, and
Oh,
that's pretty much been the bulk of my days for the past however long. But yeah, that's basically been my focus thus far. I haven't put out any new in a while. So yeah, that's pretty much been it.
I definitely understand that, and it's people who haven't had to do stuff like that. It's definitely very hard because
Yeah,
emotionally as well as the actual physical work of it as well. So
definitely,
yeah,
absolutely.
kudos to you for taking
I appreciate it.
care of this. So the program tonight is gonna we're gonna actually talk about transitioning from one relationship to another. So I'm pretty sure everybody in our chat room at one time or another has dealt with a breakup, whether it was mutual or someone just said, you know what, I can't deal with you no more. I got to move on. Right. If you've dealt with a breakup before, whether it's, by your hand or the others or mutual, sometimes it can be mutual where you both say, you know what, this is not working for us. And you guys do that. Generally, I find is usually one or the other. It's usually you say bye bye or they say bye bye. But it depends on the relationship on how simple it is in moving on. I think for most people, some people are pretty cold blooded, so they'll be like, "I'm no longer, I'm with it. I'm not. I was with this person for months at a time or whatever years, and then it's no longer, and I'm just moving on. Forget it. They're in the mirror view mirror. What's next?" Other people, it takes a while for them to be in another situation as well. And to be honest with you, I've experienced it both ways, where I experienced it where it was hard to move on for a lot of reasons, and then I've experienced it where it was quite easy, and even though they were long-term relationships. So, um, let me start off, of course, with you, LA. Um, when you've been in relationships and you were in a marriage as well, um, and you had to move on, are you the kind of person that you need time in between relationships to go to the next thing? Are
I
you
what? Sorry, I what between relationships?
um, are you the kind of person that generally needs time before you move on, or are you someone that can jump right into the next thing?
Um, I think that that depends, right? Um, I think that when a relationship is coming to an end, you kind of know you saw it coming, so you can be prepared. You could have been prepared, kind of before to some degree, not fully, but to some degree. So
Mhm.
your transition into somebody else, that first relationship that you go into after the one you came out of, usually that is pretty rocky because although you were able to move on, you probably weren't ready to do so. So, so yes and no to your question, because it's like, yeah, you saw it coming, so you were preparing yourself to go meet other people. Maybe you thought you were ready before you were, and then you've quickly realized that, okay, hold on, I need to do some work here.
Mhm.
Let me just pump the brakes and then try this again in a little bit.
Mhm.
But
What
yeah.
about you? What about you, Dad? Are you one of those guys that hey, that was yesterday. I'm moving on. I can hop in with someone else, or do you need time generally if it's a long-term relationship?
Of course, if it's serious, I definitely need time. Um, I think the longest I waited between relationships was 5 years
Mm.
before I dated anybody
What?
else.
Did you just say you waited for
Yep.
5 years?
Yeah, because I was definitely not ready to give myself to anybody.
Okay.
So what did your wait? I have questions. What did the 5 years of waiting consist of? Like, what did you do for your wait time?
3 out of 5 was me trying to win that person back when I know I shouldn't have. The other two was me pretty much, I guess you could say, standing on my own 2 feet, like not not needing them to be the person that I wanted to be with.
Mm.
If that makes sense. She said
Were you
masturbate. Okay.
celibate that 5 years, or would you just have jump offs,
Say it
or
again.
like?
Oh, you asked was I was definitely not celibate
Okay,
those
okay.
5 years. No.
Well, then I guess I could be single for 5 years too. Then
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe forever long. I've seen what's out there.
He said he was single. He said I wasn't celibate. Like I went.
Yeah, I thought I needed to go celibate, but after doing so, I'm like, that's crazy. I don't even know who would want to do that, like on purpose.
Yeah, I've definitely tried it. It didn't last too long.
I lasted a year,
You know.
but it was or almost a year, and it wasn't. I felt empowered by it, so I did gain something from it, but nah, I'm good.
Well, I think for me, my celibacy time is over. I don't
Oh
think I'm
yeah,
gonna
you're
do
out
any
there slinging it,
self-imposed
huh?
celibacy. I'm 42 years old. I'll be 43 next month. So, you know, I think
Yeah,
celibacy is for it's a young sport. So-
that as Shannon would say, that part.
right. So all that I'm gonna try to be zen with it, and no, mm-mm. I can learn what I need to learn and still have sex. So, but no, but that's it. Hey, props to people who can do that though, for sure. Uh,
Like for years.
Right.
right, for years. That's yeah. Wow. Kudos, man.
I didn't
Kudos.
even understand it. It's like a full foreign language to me.
Right. Yeah, that's something else. Um. Okay, so now for a lot of us guys, right? Okay, we'll be in relationships for a long time, and then not saying we didn't care about the person, right? But for us, a way to get back on that horse is sex, right? So a lot of times, we were together. We were with LA for like 4 years, and I mean, she was the love of my life.
Wow.
We were gonna be together, and then she left me for whoever, right? And
Wow.
the good way for us to, get over that hole in your heart that's missing is to hop in the bed, right?
The only way to get over is to get under.
Right, 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 right,
I
right.
get it.
That is the
And it's
saying.
funny though, because I had like, okay, so I was in a relationship once,
What?
and well, this specific relationship,
I'm just kidding.
and and so it was one of the rare times where actually, when it was over, we became pretty good friends, right? And so once, this is like years after we were together, and she was helping me clean an office of mine, and she found a receipt, and she looked at the receipt. It was of a restaurant, and she saw the date on the receipt, and she was like, "Where'd you go on such and such date? Like, years ago or whatever it was." And I was like, I think I'd remembered I'd went on a date, and she was like, that was like 2 days after we broke up, and I was like, I have to remember that, right? She remembered the actual dates, right? I didn't remember no dates like that, and
Wow.
she was saying, "You mean you just moved on that fast after we were together?" And I'm thinking in my head like, yeah, like like, and she was like offended or something, like, right? And like, it took me months and all of that, and you just 2 days later you were, and
No.
I mean, but everybody's definitely different.
right, right. I mean, I could see if you were like, if you were dating someone and she died, maybe you might need some time, you know,
Right.
or something like that, or not even maybe. That would be weird.
Wow.
It'd be weird. Your woman died, and you're like 2 days later, like you up to something else.
Well, time to go.
Circle of life.
What else is out there
I
now?
mean, some people, that's how they process grief.
But you know what though? Like, I think I would haunt my ex if she was that quick to do that.
Oh my God, that's good to know.
I think I might come back on her ass. I'm like, give me a month of grief at least. All right, don't be like at my funeral. Be like, oh man, the ring, what they call them, the pallbearer. He looked kind of cute. Like, don't do me like that.
But what if she was like crying the whole time and called out your name and stuff like that?
No,
You
no.
would you still haunt her?
Yes,
Oh
yes,
no.
yes. And
You're still
it'd
thinking
be a
about it.
jacked
She's
up
trying to,
hunting.
she's trying to get back the feeling of Kinte, just with death.
No,
Dude,
trying to throw it back. Totally different.
no, no, no. You're getting haunted, and it's not gonna be a good haunting. It's gonna be Amityville horror haunting. Okay, I'm throwing shit around your place. Okay,
Oh no.
yeah, I'm gonna be petty. I'm gonna be,
In the pro-
I'm gonna be
in the
petty
process of
ghost.
Here's some Kleenex, please.
All right,
Thank-
that's gonna be my name, Kente the Petty Ghost.
Oh man. Kinte the petty ghost.
Yes, yes. So
I like it. Not like Casper.
no, not at all. So I don't know. Like, another interesting thing sometimes is,
In the back.
I don't know if Dad, if you ever had experienced this, or LA, you have a friend who they had been in a relationship and they just kind of stuck on a breakup, like way past the point of sanity. And then you feel like, if you ever felt the need to tell like your friend, like, dude, or homegirl, like, jump on the horse again. And have you ever had to, one of you guys ever had to kind of help your friend get back on?
I mean, I tried. I've tried. I've definitely tried. I've also been the person being told, get over it.
Ooh,
But how do you get over 6? Like I think I have a right to be upset when there's 16 years of being with someone. It's not like not even 2 full years had gone by and they were like, get over it. I spent more time in it than I was out of it. So how am I supposed to just get
Right.
over it?
Right.
It's a whole lot of yourself in that after 16 years.
Right.
That's almost all you know. That is all you know.
I thought it was a little insensitive, personally.
It is very insensitive.
But
Like,
I didn't really. I try to really hang in there for people who need the support, but there's definitely thoughts of, oh my God, you're killing me right now.
Yeah.
people, I mean, when you're with someone, especially for a long time, right, and you're faithful, the one thing is you always have an escort, right? If there's some sort of an event or whatever, hey Denny, if there's an event or whatever, right, you always had your date, right, which was your significant other.
Right.
And also, like, being, as we all know, being in that dating field is not the business. You know, at least to me, it ain't. I'm not a big, I don't love dating. I definitely it's not one of my favorite things in the world. You know, I don't know how y'all feel about it.
Why don't you like dating?
Um, because especially like every time when it's like something new, it's like you jumping back on that horse, and you know, and it just feels like Groundhog Day, even though it's a different person. It just feels like you're going through that same bullshit again, and it's like, and then you almost feel like you're having deja vu, even though it's a totally different person. And you know, you're sitting at some whack ass restaurant, and you're listening to some bullshit you don't care about, and you're like, you're trying to act like you care, but do you really care? No. And it's just, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been times where, you know what, I felt, oh man, you know, this is cool. Like you know, you felt like a connection and everything is wonderful, but that's few far in between. Most dates for me that I've gone on, I would say I could have done something else, man. I could, like, you know, it's bad when you're like at the date and you're like, man, I missed the Lakers for this. You know,
No, that's awful.
Man.
like Kobe had 50 tonight, and I'm up here with this chick. You know,
Oh my God, that's
like,
bad.
you know, like, and
That's
then you're
bad.
like, then you're like, oh man, wait, Cheesecake Factory has the TV. You know, so
Oh my
you sit with
God.
her back to the TV, and you can see it, and you're like, mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, I mean, you know, that dating isn't the best, right? Sometimes, right? Some people love
Yeah,
it
I'm about to
though.
say sometimes.
Some people love it though. Some people love the bullshit. You know, they love it, man. They love like the all of that. I don't.
I
I
don't
don't
like
know.
it.
Like, what kind of person loves it? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not really a
I
big
would be.
fan.
I guess I'm one of those people that was okay with it
Mm.
when I was doing it. But when I was trying to date, yeah, it was some strange people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Very very strange people.
Yeah. You know what I don't like? I don't like the pre-dating.
Mm.
I do this thing called pre-dating,
Mm-hmm.
and then I, you know, I funnel it down to, okay, I'm really feeling this person, so now let me exclusively date and see what happens. So I don't mind the exclusive dating, but I definitely don't like the pre-dating, because that feels like the inauthentic part.
Right. Like,
So if you can make a connection in that part, then they deserve to have the rights to the exclusive dating.
let me ask this question: do you get pause when someone that you may be starting to date or someone might be interested in you if they just came off a relationship?
Do I give pause to that?
Yeah, like a long-term relationship.
Yes, I wouldn't go. I don't think that's a good idea, actually.
Mm-hmm. So you believe there is that thing? What they call it? What they call it?
Rebound?
Rebound. Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I do.
So what definitely about LA the rebound that kind of gives you pause or being potentially a rebound?
Because it's like what I said in the very beginning. It's you may have known that your relationship was going to come to an end, but you know, for me anyway, I'm drawn to being with someone. I like that's part of my thing. I like to be in a relationship. So when I'm just floating around out there, it's almost like the best of what comes to me is what ends up being what I'll go for. Just because I like the exclusive dating situation. But it gives me pause when they've just come out, because I know for myself, I need to do the work. There's work that needs to be done when you come out of something long term. And if you just jump into something else, you're just going to resurrect that stuff in a new space. And I've done that before. I'm really not interested in it anymore. It's such a time waster.
Right.
I have money to make, and I hope the person I'm with wants to make money too.
Yeah. Um, Stephanie says, every time I've interacted with a man who just got divorced, I hear an echo. Is that me? Oh, no?
No?
Oh, okay.
Yes, Steph. Yes. I agree with her, as I often do. I often agree with
Okay,
Steph.
it might be you, Dad. Wait. Mute one more time.
Say what one
No,
more time?
no. Wait, it might be you, LA. Wait, mute, LA.
You want me to mute? How do I mute? I'm
Uh,
on my phone.
I don't even know how to mute.
It's at the bottom right corner. You see a little microphone.
Okay, let's see.
Hello. Yeah, it was LA. I don't know why you were. You can go ahead and unmute, LA. Yeah, it was you. Yeah, it's you. I don't know why is it. Are you on speaker?
Well, yeah, because I'm on my cell phone.
Oh, you don't have headphones or nothing, bro?
I won't hear you right, but I'll try.
Okay. Okay, so Steph says every time I've interacted with a man that just got divorced, he really was unsure of himself, financial issues to a certain degree, dead set on being in a serious relationship, which leads me to believe that he just wants to have sex with me. No thanks. Yeah, is I always say that um, like I I've dealt with that where I've gotten involved with someone who just got out of a relationship many times. Um, and it never works. I feel like I can't tell you a situation where I mean, you can say that. I mean, I'm not married right now, so you can say they all failed. But but it seems like even extra with someone who just got out of a relationship or whatever. Or I don't know if you guys ever had this where they got out of a relationship, you start to date them, and then you find they're always talking about the person. They're always like, yeah, when Ted used to cut his meat like this, or like Ted, it's like at a certain point, you're like, man, fuck Ted. Like, I don't want to hear Ted again.
What am I here for? I've been in a situation like that. I've also been in a situation where we were both pretty much the rebounds because we both just got out of a relationship, and she was still in contact with her ex to the point where she was still dealing, like she was definitely still dealing with her, but I'm meeting the family and all that good stuff, and of course the family knows that she's still dealing with the ex, but I'm in the dark about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
It's not. I mean, but of course I already knew the situation was, so that's why I wasn't too beat up I wasn't beat up at all when it ended completely.
No. Yep. I've definitely been in a similar situation before. I don't know. Have you ever had it where you got with a guy, LA?
Say that again.
Have you ever got with a guy and he still talked about his ex?
Oh yeah, it's irritating. It's like I go into counselor mode right away. It's because I resolve in my mind that, okay, this is not going anywhere, but let me just be here for this poor thing because this is sad.
I had a girl cry
about her ex.
Yeah.
While on a date with you.
No, it wasn't a date. We were chilling at her spot, and
that's uncomfortable.
Yeah. So, yeah, but let's just say I got what I needed to get out of that relationship.
But
Okay.
can we just like, I don't know how deep you want to go into this
We go
conversation,
real deep. Let's get real
because what is it says transitioning after a breakup,
right.
right? So yeah, we might date, we might think this or that, or go back to them, or rebound and all that stuff. But what does it mean to transition?
That is the main point. Transitioning is essentially you were in a certain situation, a bubble, whatever, with the person you were with, and then now that reality is no more. You're no longer connected with that person, because when you're in a relationship with someone, you guys do form like a bond. You guys form a tribe. You form whatever you want to call it. That's no more. So
Right.
now you got to transition out of that into something different.
Not
So
only
like,
you, everybody around you.
that's right,
Right.
because it gets
So
weird
you step,
when you share friends, you share
yeah.
places you go to, like what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Uh, and then now it's like, and then and then now you go from a person that was in a relationship to now you're single. It's a different vibe now, and all that kind of good stuff. So
It's
the
terrible.
transition, especially if it's been long term, that transition can be hard for a lot of people. Men too. Like I think women don't think it is, but it can be for us guys. It can be tough. So um,
That was definitely my 5-year process. Although step one took 3 years, but hey, I got past it.
mm.
I definitely got past it.
Steph says, "What if you feel stuck? You don't want your ex, but don't feel confident enough to make good choices in the dating situation." That is very, very great question. That is very common. A lot of people stick with their person, the person they're dating with, because they don't feel like they can either do better or find someone that's even though they're not maybe the business, like they can't find someone who is even on par. Or oh no, you dumped them. Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh, wow. You
I
just
feel like the rebound person is who we practice with.
right.
Mm.
Try to work out the kinks. And the
Yeah.
kinks will either say, "Oh wow, I should go to counseling," or "Man, I'm good." It
But
was all him.
you know what though? I think if you're gonna be the rebound person, if you have that mindset, have a certain mindset, and you see it for what it is, and and you just get out of it what you need to get out of it, then you could make that being the rebound dude or woman work for you. As long as you're not trying to, probably if you're looking, oh, we're gonna settle down and make babies and all that, probably not gonna happen. But if you just be real selfish as hell and be like, you know what, I'm gonna get what I need to get out of this situation, maybe being a rebound person can be
But I
beneficial.
don't think I mean, I hope you're not conscious of that. I hope you're not consciously saying, let me just get what I want from this situation and work myself out with this dude till I figure it out." Because I mean, like Steph brings up the question of like, you don't trust your decision making skills. So like you're trying things out with different people until I don't think you're consciously trying to hurt somebody else, but I think that's what happens. That's what inevitably happens.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I shouldn't say this because there are some evil ass people out there.
There are some
But
evil ass people out
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely.
but us regular folks, I don't think we are trying to hurt people. Now, maybe some of our actions might lead to that, and it's not intentional. So sorry if I've ever done that. But
It's okay, Kinte.
but us regular folks, yeah, we're not out in the business to try to hurt people. We're just trying to live our lives, right? But but she says you don't trust your own decision making skills. That's interesting. So I um
How could you not question yourself after like for me, I
mhm,
went 16 years with somebody. How did I not, like,
mhm.
what did I do wrong? Um, did I not see the signs? And of course, in retrospect, you usually do. So if you can see what you did wrong, then when you meet someone new, how do you really trust what you're getting into?
Mm.
In that event, in that Well, I guess it's just a question anyway. Wouldn't that be you being too hard on yourself, and it really isn't? It would. Maybe it's not necessarily you in that situation.
Oh, maybe not, but how you feel and what it is are sometimes two totally different things. Like I might be doing all the right things, but
Mhm.
because it's new, I feel insecure about everything, every step I take. Kind of like starting a podcast. I don't know how to do that, but I just do it hoping for the best. But you do it
Right.
with a feeling of insecurity because you've never done it before. You want it to be good. You're not sure. There's all of these hesitancies that happen. And so you doubt your ability to do it the way you would like to see it in your mind.
Mm.
Like I can picture what I want in my mind, but can I actually make it happen? I don't know. It's not just dependent on me.
Steph says, I think men's entire approach towards women, generally speaking, comes from a place where there is 90% chance a woman will end up as collateral damage. They see women dissect her, consume her, and discard her.
Like that post you made the other day, Steph.
But okay,
That was real.
that's interesting. Um, what I would say to that is the way to guard against that is you got to really find someone that values you.
Okay.
And
Good
if they
luck with
don't,
that.
if they no, I mean, it's not as hard as you think.
Really?
No, it's not.
And someone I'm attracted
It's
to?
not. It's not hard. It's just I don't.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't
there's
say it's
nice
hard
people
either. I
all
just say
over
the
the
No,
world.
I'm
variety.
not saying nice people. Okay? I'm not just saying someone nice. But it has to start off with someone who values you and who sees you as something valuable. And I know sometimes you can't tell what people's intentions are,
Yeah.
but that's a good way to start off. Someone who doesn't really value you at all, and you think you're gonna get that person too, it's never gonna work out. So, but
How do you show value to a woman? How will she know that you value her?
um, there's certain actions that men and women will do to show value. One is that like the way that they interact with you, right? So like certain things like the way that they like if something you value, you usually treat very well, right? I'm not talking about you just spend like money on them or something. Like you actually really, uh, you communicate a lot with them. You, you, um, like if I value you, right, I'm not gonna forget your birthday. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You might forget it. It's okay. I don't know if that means you don't value me.
Dad, if you're dating Rihanna, you gonna forget her birthday?
Not dating. I just mean like you just like you meet
No, you're
somebody.
not gonna forget her birthday. No, you're gonna.
What makes a man ghost you then? Right? They start to withdraw because they're not man enough to communicate how they really feel. So they just all of a sudden start like not returning a call or like they just they disappear practically. Does that mean he doesn't value you or
Yes,
something else going
yes.
on?
I think when you ghost people, you don't value them as just a human being. Like, why would you, like,
Just stop interacting, right?
right, right. It's like if I value you and let's say things are not going well or things are not, I'm going to communicate that to you so you won't be left hanging. And that's
Right.
your human decency to do that. I think ghosting is one of the most chicken shit things that you can do, um, is ghosting someone. So, just let them know. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a tough conversation. It's gonna probably suck. They may say some things that are shitty, but at least they know. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
You guys have disappeared from my screen, just so you know.
Oh, Dad dropped out, but I'm still here.
No, I don't see you either, but I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You might just want to refresh.
Um,
Wait, did Dad come back?
I see. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see Dad, but I don't see you.
Yeah, just refresh.
But I see him,
Oh, okay. All right, but you
but I
can hear.
don't, and I can hear you, but I can't see you, and I can't refresh because I'm on my cell phone.
Oh, okay. But
Anyway, I can hear you. It's fine.
The mobile you have to refresh the app sucks. Oh, okay.
Okay, well, how do you do that? How do you refresh?
I usually just back out of the room and then re-enter, and then
Okay.
everything pops up just fine.
Yeah.
That's
All
just what I
right.
do. I don't
But I
know if
mean, you
that's
can
like
hear
a
me,
good
right? So
method.
we're
I can hear you. It's fine. It doesn't
okay.
matter.
All right. You just don't want to see me. That's hard. But
It's
okay.
hard for me.
But okay, let's get back to the whole transitioning part. Is um like how do you do it? Like um we talked about for us, a lot of us guys and women too. Women do it on some levels too. Is the whole I'm gonna just go and have sex until it's out my system. This relationship. That's one way to do it. Probably not the best way to do it, but you know,
It could be fun.
right. It can be fun, or it could be unfulfilling.
It could be terrible.
And nonetheless, nothing worse than empty sex. It's
That
like,
is the worst.
like afterwards, you're still thinking about your ex. You're like,
I can't. Oh God, that I have never had that, but that sounds awful. That just sounds awful. After I sleep with someone else, I think, man, that was better. Nah,
no. I
that's
mean, you're
terrible.
like,
Mm.
oh, Miss. In your case,
No,
Tyrone or whoever, Sugarfoot or whatever guy.
nah. I saw the end of my situation coming a mile away. It was like 4 years building up to the actual split. So
Mhm. But
I wasn't really. I
there
wasn't
is
like hung up like that.
there is the cool thing. Like, I often thought of my number one after sleeping with someone. So, oh, that's cool. Um, uh, there is a thing though about when you've broken up in a relationship where you are now officially back on the market. Now, for some people, that's big news.
Yeah, the predators are real.
Other people, it's like, all right, I'm back on the scene. Let's see what's up. Like, especially if you were a person who, some people are single even when they're not single. But I'm talking about if you were a person that took yourself, I'm in this relationship, I ain't mess with no one else. But now you're free, and now you're like, okay, I'm ladies, gentlemen, or whatever you are, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. So what's up? So
Right.
for you, for example, LA, I'm sure when the word got out, when the town crier came out and said that LA was now officially back on the market.
Got lined up.
Right. It was that line. It was like a line like, whoa, hey, let me throw my hat in the ring.
You know, it's funny that you say that because people can kind of smell when there's a problem in a relationship because especially because being married for so long, I wasn't in that phase of I'm not going to post my husband on online and all that kind of stuff. So there were always a lot of pictures of us and our family and everything we did together and the traveling and blah blah blah. And then slowly but surely it was like, here I am by this tree. Look at this waterfall and I'm by myself. So that I started to get the direct messages like, is everything okay? How are you and Brent? Blah blah blah.
Everything such and such in a while.
Right? So they could smell the blood. And then when it became out, like out that Brent and LA broke up, it was people that knew me from back in the day that had never been with me started to like, you want to go talk about it? You want me to let's go to dinner. I've always known you for so long. Let's go talk about it. I just want to be here for you. And then you feel the creepy arm on your shoulder or the hug that lingers where that never happened before with that person. So yeah, there's some weird stuff definitely happens when people that may, I guess, have wanted to sleep with you just was respecting the relationship that you were in. And then when they heard it was over, it was like, okay, it's now or never.
Yes, it's like I've been waiting for this day for 16 years. No.
Sometimes longer.
Right. Sometimes it'll be
Consistent
the significant other's friend or family member. Sometimes, yeah, that happens quite a bit.
That does happen.
I've had it happen where I was in a relationship and one of her good friends was like, "What's up?" So
Really? I
mhm.
don't know. How do you do that? I don't know.
So I mean, I didn't mess with her, but
I could never go after one of my friends' man. I don't know.
that's quite traitorous. Like I can understand if you
It's
live in a
pretty bad,
town where there's only so many people, right? I can
I
understand the
guess.
logic behind that, but we live in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like there, you can
Yeah,
find
that's true.
someone else. You know, like come on now. You don't have to go for your friends' exes in LA. You know, so
Yeah.
but yeah. I don't know. So have you ever had a moment where you were off the market dead and then now you're like, all right, I'm on the mark. I'm off the market now. What's up, ladies? Line up right here.
Well, my town, my town is really small, so everybody knows everybody. I don't, I don't think I was that hot of a commodity. And then the people that did want to get with me prior to me getting into a relationship, I'd already told them, yeah, nah, they ain't gonna work out. I mean, they would try anyway, but I said, nah, I'm good. I appreciate uh, your inquiry though.
Maybe
We
that's why
good on
you
that.
went
Nah,
back to your girl.
that's actually not.
Okay.
That's not
Because
why I went back.
you're
No,
saying because
I
it's
definitely
small,
tried.
right? That's why I said that.
The town.
Oh yeah, it's definitely small. I'm damn near literally related to everyone in this town on both sides of my family. So I mean, it was hard for me to date anyway.
But that's that's why I said that. That's why you would have gone back to your girl, because at least you know who that is. If there's not a lot of choices, not to
Oh
not
yeah,
to say
I mean
that you
that
were
was
settling, but I'm just saying that there's a
no,
familiarity.
I didn't take it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I definitely, like I said, I definitely tried dating outside of her. It just didn't. I apparently picked the same type of person
Mm-hmm.
in a different form, and I found that out after probably the fourth girl.
Oh wow.
Right.
So you might as
Yeah.
well be aware with the original.
Seemed like it, right? It seemed like it. Not like the last. I think the last girl I tried to date, she had just, or at least that's what she said. I don't know. She had just broke it off with her baby father, and we were literally talking for, I say, 2 weeks before she was going through my phone wondering who I was talking to.
Oh wow.
And that was legit because of her baby father, who had done her dirty like their entire relationship. I have no idea how long they were together, but it was enough for her to be suspicious of whoever she was with. And needless to say, that didn't work out. And she is a person that I ghosted. I mean, I told her, yeah, I don't want this situation to go any further than we've already gone. And she would constantly try to hit me up. I block her on my personal page. She would hit me up on the business page. I block her on my business page. She'd find me on some other type of social media, and I block her off of that. To the point where, like, we had mutual friends. I had to tell them to tell her, we good. Keep pushing. And I haven't heard from her in quite some time. Thank God.
I'm glad.
She was scared.
I'm glad you said the whole mutual friends thing. Because one thing I hate is, okay, you broke up with somebody, and then the mutual friends want to tell you everything your ex is doing now. It's like
Every and all of the time.
oh my god, it's the worst. It's like, and you're not jealous of nothing because you've moved on, but it's like you don't want to hear it. Like it's like, I
Right.
moved on, and then they take that as oh, see, he ain't gotten over. Like, like it's like oh man, I was at Target and she was there with somebody. I'm like, oh, okay,
Oh my gosh.
and it's like I just thought you want to know. Like, why the fuck would I want to know?
Lord.
Exactly.
No, I like one of those. I'm one of those people that like once it's over, I want complete, just erase, cut out, move on. I'm not to say if I saw her, I would act funny or any kind of way. It's just that.
Are you two black men into therapy or like counseling? Would you go and do that before you go into your next one?
I actually have been, and I've had a therapist for about 4 months.
Yeah, it helps, right?
And it turned out it does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not laughing at that. I'm
I
just with a stiff rope.
specifically because I went through an app pretty much because I can't move around because I work with my grandma. She can't get out of the house. Well, she can't walk or anything, so she can't be left by herself.
Your grandmother?
So so I went through an app called Talkspace, and they give you the option to pick who you want to talk to based on whatever issues you want to work out. I hate to say issues, but for lack of a better term, issues. And I specifically picked a black woman because one, and I feel like a woman would be more empathetic, I guess you could say. And yeah, it worked out really well. Really well. I loved her.
Wow. Where did Kinte go? I lost him again.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
My picture's going in and out too.
Oh wow, wow! It look.
Yeah, the app really is trash.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to them about that. I mean, I'm on my computer, so it's fine for me. So
yeah, normally I would be on my computer, but I don't. My Wi-Fi connection is not that great, so I'm using my phone.
Oh wow. So yeah, what about you, Kinte? Have you gone to therapy or counseling to try and work on yourself to be ready for a relationship?
No, I haven't, and I'm not opposed to it. I was for like many years. I would have laughed at that, but after you go through some things in life and all of that, then you start looking at things a little differently. So maybe there. I mean, not necessarily about relationship stuff, but I've had situations where I probably should have talked to somebody or whatnot. So I definitely don't have the same thought process about that. So that's
when you're.
Why do you?
Go ahead, Dad.
Go ahead, Ellen.
No, go ahead.
Why? I was just gonna ask, why do you all think we're so skeptical about talking to a therapist or talking our problems out in general to someone professional?
I'll have Kinte answer that one because I'm not opposed to it at all. I'm all for it. In fact, I've just entered school to become a therapist because I just feel like culturally there's not a lot of representation in a therapeutic model for people to feel comfortable speaking, I think. So that might be one of the reasons. There's not enough people with diverse experience being the counselor. So they use this framework that's already been set up by the colonizers to try to heal the wounds of the colonized, and it doesn't really work very well.
And if you break down the word, is the rapist. So so that doesn't instill a lot of
Well,
yeah, write it down. The rapist.
There it is.
So I don't know. It's like therapy does scare me to some degree because with what LA says. So, but I do feel like you do need to talk to people at times. Professional. So yeah. So I'm not opposed to it at all. It's just you got to be careful. Who you see. I would say you got to really shop around and find someone that.
Right.
And if you think about it, you're at your most vulnerable, and so that person can really, have you going all kind of different ways. So definitely, yeah.
Oh, Steph is sharing.
Oh, there's a website called Therapy for Black Girls.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna look there for mine.
Yeah. Yeah. That in the US has a lot more resources than we have here in Canada. So that's a part of why I'm going. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so you'll do very well there.
I'm hoping I will.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason that I would do poorly. I do it already, but I'm just not labeled a psychotherapist or a therapist. But I counsel in my capacity as registrar at school. So I'm just gonna. Yeah. I do more coaching than therapy. But after going through my own therapy, I do see where it can be very, very helpful.
We've had some therapists on the show at times, more so in the beginning, and the last kind of therapist we had was more like a sex
Stop.
therapist. So, you know, so she,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But it's important that the
hands
person
on,
also
right?
have that they have their agency, because a lot of these people, they go to school, they get their PhDs, they become their therapists, but they're just replicating the same. They're still, spewing the same ideology as the European people who created the platform, the framework. So you need somebody who knows how to, work within the cultural aspects, the nuances and idiosyncrasies of who we are as people, and find ways to reach them, because we're not a people that likes to talk. So right off the bat, when you go in and you're expected to speak, you're going to be paying a lot of money just to get them to open up and feel comfortable. There has to be just different things that they're thinking about in order to counsel melanated people, because it's just different.
Maybe I should have been a therapist.
You think so?
People love to talk to me about whatever's going on, so maybe
You
I need to
ask a lot of questions.
I
So
do.
you'd be a good coach.
Life coach?
I guess everyone's a life coach. Isn't everybody a life coach now?
Yeah. I think you're a life coach.
Is that the new hustle?
You could just be like, I'm a life coach.
Yeah, it seems like it. And Mike Truth used to say all the time, when he would scroll through Instagram, he used to be like, these Instagram philosophers out here keeping it real. And it's true. Like, everybody has something to say.
Right. I was about to say social media is one of the longest reigning therapists,
right?
in forever.
It's so true.
So the last kind of point I wanted to get to when it comes to the topic is okay. So you've done whatever you felt like you needed to, whether it was time, spoke to a therapist, burned some candles, lit some sage, whatever you felt like you needed to do, burn the bed sheets, you know. So now you ready, right? In your mind, you ready to now be in another relationship. You're ready to receive someone in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are okay, we don't want to be stuck in the past, but there's a reason why we go through stuff, right? Because sometimes what you've gone through in the past can help you go into the future, right? But you don't want to be too stuck in the past where it freezes you in the future. So now that we are ready to move on, what are some things that we should look at as far as so we don't maybe make some of the mistakes we may have made in the past with our selection process, going forward?
Go ahead, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're gonna throw that one right in my lap. I guess one of the biggest things would be not to be so quick to compare whoever your current is and whoever your former is. Like with the situation with me and the girl I was telling you guys about, she was going through my phone looking to see if I was talking to someone. That was because she wanted to be in a full relationship, but she didn't trust anyone of the male species. So I mean, she I guess her heart was in the right place as far as wanting to be in a relationship, and her intentions were in the right place, but her
actions,
her actions and her suspicions definitely showed something completely different.
Right.
Well, she's doing that because she doesn't know what else to do to have control in the situation. She wants to trust you. She wants to believe in you, but her past has shown her exactly what happens when she does that. So she's looking for a reason to be like, to take the other step in the direction closer to you. but that's not the way to go about it. She has to already make it up in her mind that she's going to go into the situation differently than she did before. She's going to trust and act like she trusts until there's a reason not to trust.
And she wanted to know why Dad was texting with Pizza Hut at 3 a.m. last night.
No, she probably wanted to know why Dad broke up with his ex-girlfriend, because clearly now she's like, you see, that's why I wasn't with him.
You know what's crazy? When we got back together, I was thinking that. Wow, I bet for a fact this is something she has talked about.
I bet for a fact too, and I don't even know the situation. That is exactly what she's thinking.
But contrary to popular belief, that was not the case then.
Yeah, I'm glad you're stating it publicly. It's it's being taped, so maybe she'll see it.
Hey,
I'm going to screen record this and put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter, because it's still her stuff. Because even if that was the case, then that was an unfortunate situation for her. But she can't use those things as reasons to stop living her life or not trusting anybody else.
Exactly.
I've decided to, during my transition to finding someone new, I've just decided to go with how I want to feel. So if I want to feel trust and love, that's how I'm going to act. I'm not going to do the things that impact those to it in the negative, so that I continue to produce the thing that I want. If the person that I'm with isn't down for that, it's going to become so apparent so quickly that it will flush itself out. And I guess you get tired and disappointed after a while, because you keep meeting people like that. That's the thing, right? You get so tired of it, but I still have to keep going in the direction. It's like the faith that I have in God. I just believe that I'm going to create the situation that I'm looking for eventually by living right. My livity will bring it to me. I hope.
Steph says, I get upset with myself when I feel like I messed up an interaction or a conversation with a man by not being witty or charming enough or funny.
First of all, that's impossible.
I know, right?
Oh my God, that's so impossible. Steph is such an amazing woman. I don't even know her, and her personality comes flying through with everything that she says. I can tell she's smart. I can tell she's funny. She loves sex. She's the perfect mate, really. Kinte, I don't know what you're waiting on.
All those are not lies whatsoever.
You know what's funny
she's
though?
amazing.
I think I'm so witty that I'm witty enough for the both of for me and the person I'm in a relationship with. So, it's like I'm the comedian in this relationship. Just laugh at my jokes. I don't need a woman to be as funny as I. But that's interesting though. Stephanie is mine. Hilarious.
Man, we can share her.
Oh wow, man!
I ain't even.
If she was in the chicks, she'd be in heaven right there. I think I've lost faith. Lost faith in what though, particularly?
In making that connection, probably, and finding a person that you can be fully yourself with. That, yeah, I get why she might feel that way. I mean, and I'm not even in the same country as her, and I feel this way.
Really? Okay.
People are, you know what? Relationships are very transactional right now. They're not relational. And that's a big problem. What do I mean? It's just like, it's all about bartering for something. You scratch this and I'll scratch that. Nobody's really just thinking about the love part of the relating part of relationships.
I don't think, guys, we don't look for love like that. Like,
you don't need to look for love. I'm talking about just relating. Like, just like how you said somebody who ghosts you isn't a good person, or that person doesn't value you. But that's a prevalent thing right now. People just do shit like that to people.
Like,
right?
So I think Chris Rock said
lack of there's a lack of respect that is all over.
Chris Rock said this. It was something to the effect like, one day this is how marriage happens. We were trying to get laid, and somehow, like 6 months later, we're walking down the aisle. Like, how the hell did this happen? like it all started out with a plan to get laid, and then next thing you know, it's like wow, I like this chick, and oh, she's cool, and oh, we're getting married, and I don't
But
feel
that's the
like
problem. Right
I
there, you
don't
just said the
feel.
problem. You went into it trying to get laid. And we are
Uh,
now very aware that you look at us to size up whether or not can I get laid from her or not. Right there, you're looking for the transaction.
right.
And yeah, and in that situation, fine, he liked her, but that's like the basketball dream. One day I'll be a basketball player and I'll be able to buy my mama a house. Like, that's great, but there's not a lot of people, there's not enough people in the NBA to cover the amount of people playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
it's a one shot kind of deal. And so when you're meeting people that in their mind upon meeting you, they're like, all I want to do is sleep with them, then how are you supposed to feel like a person? Look, see what Steph wrote? She doesn't even feel, we don't feel seen.
You're saying
For my thoughts? I'm not seen for my
how are you?
thoughts.
Okay, you don't know the person's thoughts. You don't know them until you start being around them. There's
No, I
always
know
going to
them
be a
from when they
draw.
talk to me.
The draw.
Like,
There's
no, but once
the,
you're
like the
drawn, you still
initial
have to start
draw is the
conversing. You have
draw.
to start conversing, right?
The,
As soon as
the,
somebody starts conversing, it
right.
becomes very obvious what they want. They're not trying to find out who I am as a person.
No, I
They're
mean,
trying to figure out, how do I make her feel like we have a connection so that we can get to bed? That's what's
um,
happening.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
they're looking for the loophole.
But then, I mean, but then after being around them for a while and all of that kind of stuff, then it's like, oh, she's pretty cool. Like I want more than that.
Or they think this is too much work and I'm out.
But then but that's cool though,
Absolutely. It's
because
cool for
then,
me because I don't want that around me
right,
anyway.
right, right. So you
So,
win.
but too many women during transition don't understand how to create boundaries because they're looking for something that they want so badly, and they're not trusting, as Steph said, their decision making
Well,
because they want something.
I
The
do.
goal, the reward is there.
I,
They
I,
want the reward.
I believe, me personally, I believe if sex is what you want as a man, you should make that abundantly clear.
I was gonna say it's the lack of honesty in all of those situations. It's pretty much
Which is what's
the,
hurting trust.
You don't have to lie
yeah,
to kick it, like,
right,
because then to me it's a win-win. If all you want is to have sex with a woman, you tell her that, right? You're gonna win either way. Either she's gonna have sex with you, or she's gonna say I ain't with that, and then you just go to the next, whatever. So, uh, I think more guys should do that. I really do. But
It's the manipulation that makes people not have trust.
right.
You're trying to get to me to do something based on me thinking that you're a particular way when you're not that way. You're just trying to tell me what I want to hear and tell me what I need so that I feel comfortable with you, to let down my guard, and then you just take advantage.
mhm.
That's awful.
Well, I think that one way to mitigate that is to have like a thing where if you have. I think sometimes we change up what we do with different people, and so if you, what I mean by that is we'll say, oh well, she's this, so I'm going to act differently, right? Um, I think sometimes if you have a rule of thumb of the way that you get down and you don't deviate from it, I think possibly you can help yourself in that regard. But if you're like, oh, okay, well, she's this or he's that, so I'm going to do things like this, I think that's when you kind of open yourself up to a lot of craziness. So,
But as you get older too, you start to be like, I'm too old for this shit.
mhm.
You're just it's taking away time from your life, and you don't, when, like, for me, I turned 46, I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Mhm.
And the problem for me in particular is that I meet a lot of younger men because people my age are married, or they have their own messed up stuff going on. So I'll meet a lot of younger men, and younger men want me to have their babies. They just think differently. They don't have the same life experience. It's just I don't have time to. You have to be a really mature younger person to be with me, because I don't have time for all of that other stuff for them figuring it out. Wow. Are you reading what Steph is writing? Man.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
So crazy. Yep.
I mean, to be fair, it is. I mean, I think it's not a walk in the park for us dudes. I want to be fair too. Like women are not easy to deal with. You know, so I mean, we don't have the physical part of it. Like, I don't think any guys are worried about being raped by women, or that aspect of it. So that is definitely different. But as far as the emotional part of it, um, it's more than men let on, I would say, for a lot of guys.
Right, because we're taught to be the tough one.
Right.
Like, show no emotion.
Right. And then a lot of times women will be like, oh, he's too emotional, or something like that.
Right.
Like we can only cry if like our cousin gets shot, or or something like that. It's like okay, you can let it out. But so I mean, I mean, we're
relationships in general. You both have to come to the situation willing to be vulnerable, and make your word your bond, because that's all we have to go off of. I mean, we can't do anything else, and then look at their behavior to see if it matches their words. If it doesn't, you got to keep it moving. And just what I'm saying is, at 46, I don't have time for all that. So either what I see is what I get, and that's what it is, or like I'll just be having a string of like relationships of like, I like to date one person at a time, so I'll just be a monogamous dater. Like, is that what you call it? A monogamous dater? I'll just keep a serial dater.
Or
Because
just
like if it ends, it ends, and then I go to the next person to have a long-term relationship there again. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, but
practice monogamy. That's it. I don't
know.
Okay, so one last thing, the whole idea of sex, while you're transitioning to getting into a point where you can be in another relationship, I believe that when practiced properly, can definitely help you through that tough time. But some people believe that you should be almost like a monk in between that period of time. That's where you need to reflect and think about, what happened and all of that. I don't know. I don't believe it, but it works for some people. So I don't have a problem with it. As an ideology, it's just not my ideology. So, and with that said, I want to thank you guys for being on the program. I'm going to start off with you, LA. How can people get you on social media and all that good stuff?
It's pretty much Cocktails with LA, everything. IG, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Cocktails with LA.
And when will we see it?
January 1st, 2020.
Oh, shoot. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm going on my tour on Friday, hitting some islands and doing some interviews in the islands, and then I come back with Sex Show. I'll be at booth number 803, and I will be interviewing people at the Everything to Do with Sex Show. I'm doing a workshop called Emotional Eating, or Eat with Love in Mind, with my friend who is a culinary nutritionist. We're looking at the ways that food contribute to our bodies and our minds, and then also the thoughts and beliefs that we hold. That will also be happening on December 6th. And then I spend 3 weeks in Grenada, just preparing for the 2020 that I know I'm going to have.
All right. I love it. And what about you, Dad? How can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
Instagram, Dead No A, DED _ the word no _ the letter A. You can follow my book page as well, Life Sentence the Book. All spelled exactly how they sound. Facebook, Dedrick Williams, Dedrick, last name Williams. Snapchat is King Dead. Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Cool.
And you can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram. And of course, the website is indyradio.org, indyradio.org. I want to thank everybody that was listening, and you guys have a great rest of your week. God bless you.
Take care, Shannon.